Matthew, what do you reckon typically brings people to workshops with us?
Well, people will be aware of repeating themes. There's probably a kind of a here we go again feeling that most couples would recognise. The actual specifics of it might vary quite considerably.
Do you mean like same old arguments over and over again?
Same old, definitely. But if you were to break it down into the most familiar and actually slightly predictable themes, one would be I'm saying something over and over again and just not being heard. And another might be I don't dare speak up because I'll have my head bitten off, I'll be criticised.
Are you making any points here?
None whatsoever. No, you may think so. I couldn't possibly comment. It wouldn't be controversial to say that, you know, most people can think of quite a lot of things they'd rather be doing than go on a weekend workshop or devote a whole weekend to a workshop based on their relating. And certainly my pathological type would rather even do something like my tax return than come along. What they get out of it, I think, is probably a couple of things. One is just really good information. Information that's quite forgiving, information that's quite kind, you know, in the sense that it stops being quite so personal, it stops being even a bit shameful why we all end up getting in a pickle. Information that actually undermines the romantic mythology that we've all been subjected to and kind of, you know, indicates to us much more clearly what really happens in life, and we can, you know, rest and be human in that.
So when you say the romantic mythology we've all been subjected to, do you mean that sort of like Disney happy ending version of marriages?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the portrayals of relationship in the media and everything we've grown up with indicate that if there's the slightest complication, that we're either with the wrong person or that, you know, we've made some terrible mistake, or there's something wrong with us. You know, all that stuff's extremely unhelpful. The dynamics of our workshop are that people share one-to-one, first of all, with people who aren't their partner, and as the relationship workshop unfolds, they start to do more and more work with their partner. So we get good at certain tools and practices before we try them out with the, you know, the person that matters most.
And I think it is important to say that this workshop isn't one-to-one therapy.
No, it absolutely isn't. I mean, it's an experiential learning mixed with a bit of seminar learning.
Getting tools, things you can take home and work on together rather than...
Very much so, because that's the other thing I think people get out of it, is something that will enhance the culture of their relationship. It sort of normalises certain practices, certain... I mean, to call them tools implies that we sort of sit down and use a certain kind of technology, but by the end of a weekend, certain practices that really, really help will become quite natural to the couple concerned.
I think it's also important to say that we don't, people aren't put on the spot, they don't have to share anything, they're not willing to share, in fact they don't have to share very much at all with the full group, so it's not kind of, nobody's going to get exposed, it's mostly done one-to-one in, you know, with their partner.
It's not some kind of 1970s encounter group,
yeah, exactly.
You know, thing, not at all, no, it's actually quite a relaxing space. It's understandable people might, you know, need little reassurance on that, but I think most people relax into it pretty quickly, same way.
And I also think that what a lot of people get from it is seeing you and me, seeing the stuff that we work through, but that there's still, you know, huge amounts of love and fun, and that we have a great relationship, and we come up against the same stuff that other people do.
Yes. What I really like about that is I've come to learn, and what I think we're both at pains to express, is that actually relationships get richer and sweeter, far more based on processing the difficulties that come up and doing so well, rather than not having any difficulties at all, which would be that old unhelpful mythology again.
And well, the sort of Instagram, aren't we happy we're on our yacht somewhere and not dealing with it at all.
Yes. And I do like that we don't bullshit anyone about our own stuff. Well, despite people's reluctance, sometimes understandable reluctance to come along, actually, invariably people leave completely delighted that they have. One of the most common bits of feedback that we get is that, I'm not alone in this. It's incredibly reassuring.